right as we felt like we really knew what was going on, had started to get a semblance here of what was going to happen, Bengals got to go and bungle it all up.
Bungle's gonna bungle. Welcome back to the James and Name Show. I'm Josiah,
And I'm Will.
and today we're doing another mock draft. Except, unfortunately, it's gonna be the last one we ever do for this year.
Yeah, for
Um,
for this year,
yeah,
just
it's
make
like
sure.
never do it again.
I don't know what.
That'd be kind of sad. That'd
Um,
be kind of sad.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, it'll be
yes, mock drafts.
our last mock draft of the season. And also is supposed to be kind of like our most accurate um mock draft, which, I mean, given the news that's dropped, it should be because this is the only one where we'll actually have the Giants picking twice in the first round. With the Dexter Lawrence trade news, but we're kind of going with an approach of just taking this not as what could happen, and exploring like all avenues, but this is kind of down to what we think will happen, accounting for trades and going about the rumors and the rumblings around the league to follow that rather than what we kind of think just makes sense. So number one, um, pretty pretty obvious. I have Fernando Mendoza. That doesn't really need a lot of explanation.
Yep,
Yeah.
mine doesn't either because it's also Fernando.
I think either way, number one's Mendoza. It's just the way outside chance that someone trades for Mendoza, but
Highly
eh,
doubt that.
yeah, it'll be tough for the Raiders to give that up. But Mendoza at one, and I think this is kind of where some people say this is where the draft starts. I kind of think it's more at three, because I think this is a 50 50-50. I think it's between two guys. Um, I went with David Bailey here though.
Interesting.
Um,
I went I went with Arvel Reese.
okay, so we got a disagreement here. I went with David Bailey. So I drew a lot of information from NFL insiders, particularly
Okay.
the man who has the usually most accurate mock drafts every year, which is Peter Schrager. He actually had David Bailey in his mock going at number two, and so that's kind of where that originally came from. But then on top of that, the Jets came out and they canceled the their top 30 visit with David Bailey, and I believe it was Adam Schefter had said that he believed that the Jets had all the information they already needed on David Bailey. They felt there was no reason for a visit, is what Adam Schefter posted. So with those kind
Interesting.
of things, the Jets kind of looking for someone to step up and play right now and kind of just be that piece rather than Reese, who is really, really high ceiling, but he's not like as day one ready. He doesn't have quite as high of a floor, I think, as David Bailey does. So I had David
Hmm.
Bailey.
Yeah. The reason why I went with Reese is basically what you said. He's got a really high ceiling. I think he can play really well. I do agree with it a little bit when you say that he does need a little bit more practice, or at least defining his skill. I definitely think he could be a really great linebacker. But I think it's just a fun concept to have Arvel Reese going to the Jets because I like him, you know, on the Jets defense. I think that would be really fun to watch. Are they going to develop him correctly? Uh, Maybe. It's the Jets. I don't expect too much from them.
Ye-
Um, but I will say this though: the Jets, for some reason, do have some strong defensive players. They just kind of come and go in waves. So
Yeah. Which is fair, and I think Reese again. I think he has a higher ceiling, but that's based a lot on projection. While my kind of reasoning for David Bailey, amongst the reasons why it kind of looks like based off of what insiders have said, is that Bailey feels more like, and I think he's the betting favorite to go number two right now. Is just he's got that, he's ready to play now. He's more refined now. And I think the Jets are in a place where they need to kind of take that step forward on defense now and get that piece now. Where while as some teams might look for someone who needs to develop over a couple of years, I think honestly I see Bailey more here between Bailey and Reese.
that's fair. It's completely fair.
Are we?
Number three.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh, Bailey.
okay.
Number three. So I actually have a trade here.
Oh, okay.
From what I've seen and what I've heard, the the Cardinals are looking to trade down, get a little more capital, because could they take Reese here and or Jeremiah Love? Those are the two names I've heard a lot. Is Reese or Love at three? And like, yes, they could, but I think the Cardinals are fully aware they're not one piece away. They're,
Yeah.
not a team that is like really able to make too much of a turnover in 1 year with this pick, and I think just trying to get more over a long period of time. I had them trade down
Okay.
because I think there's teams that are willing to give up quite a bit for this
Hmm.
spot, especially when Arvel Reese is there at three, and you have an opportunity to go up and get him. That's kind of where I had it. Was I don't think there's gonna be too many people trying to trade up for Jeremiah Love, but I think Arvel Reese will get that attention. So I had a
Hmm.
team trading up to get Reese, and I actually had the Saints do that. Trade up
Hmm.
to number three. I think there's a few. I had a few teams who I think will be in contention for that, but I think the Saints being at number eight, I think gives them the best opportunity to make that with the picks they have.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I've been kind of a fan of it, or at least the idea of it. Arizona, like you said, isn't one piece away. They are many pieces away. I think for starters, at least being up this high, it was really just between Jeremiah Love and a couple other pieces. Um, However, I kind of went with a different approach with this one. I
Mm-hmm.
think building up the lines first for Arizona, I think is a good start. They've just been kind of inconsistent there, so I kind of just put Maui Noah there.
So you
I
see
know it's a
around.
little bit of a yeah, it's
Mm,
a bit different. I understand, but I do think that the Cardinals need to pay more attention to building those lines first and then working on some other pieces. They could easily trade them down, like you said. And I think they are a team who could do that.
okay, so so the options are go Maui here or where I had the Saints go Reese.
I I I do like the idea of the Saints getting Reese here.
You want to go with that?
I
That
know,
was
yeah.
I thought someone would. I just kind of landed on them. To be honest, my other teams that I had potentially trying to move up here for someone like Reese was the Chiefs and the Cowboys, but I
Yeah,
think
that's who I was picturing was the Cowboys.
there's a lot of talk. It's nine spots. It's so far. That's kind of where I thought the Saints just being at eight gives a little bit more. Um,
Hmm.
so we want to go with Saints though, trading here.
Hmm.
Um, and what that could look like could be a number of things depending on if the Cardinals are looking for picks specifically this year. They only have three in the top 100, but they could also, if they're looking to expand on several years as they're going into a rebuild, this could be more likely to be two firsts. Um, which, for the sake of the video, we'll do that. But what that could be, it could be a number of things. It's one of the it's up there. I mean, we saw what the Jaguars paid just to get Travis Hunter at, what was it, 2?
Hmm.
So that sort of
It happens.
compensation
It happens.
going up that far, especially when it's going to be a bidding war between the Chiefs and the Cowboys with the Saints. But
Hmm.
Saints straight up take Reese at 3, and this kind of set me up for a really comfortable pick where like it could be a few guys. Um, I've seen Styles get a lot of traction. Maui Noah is always going to get a little bit of talk. Bane and Tate, but I know I've done it so many times, but I still have Jeremiah Love here at 4.
Hmm. I have also been married to that idea as well. Like, it just, it's too good. I don't know what it is, but it seems like a match made in heaven with Love and the Titans. I think they could do a lot with Jeremiah Love. I don't know. There's just something about that. I don't know what it is. So
Yeah, I mean, from
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that one.
a lot of what I've heard is, and it's going to depend on the Cardinals, but if it's, I've
Hmm.
heard things that if he doesn't go at 3, he's going to go at 4, and if he doesn't manage to go at 4, he goes at 5. And so it
Yeah.
feels like that range has kind of tightened to 3 to 5.
Hmm.
Maybe an outside shot of 7 if he slips past the Giants, because I don't think the Browns will take him. But
No.
for if the Cardinals get the trade they want, I think 4 is the most likely. But again, Sonny Styles brings a lot to the table and can shift things a lot. But here at 5 is where things get. I'll say
Interesting.
it's interesting, but
It definitely is.
not interesting in the sense of like, oh, I honestly kind of I feel like I have a good grasp on what the Giants might do here. Um, a lot of people I think expect Sonny Styles here. Schrager originally had Caleb Downs in his first mock at 12, and since he did that, teams across the league are going, there's no way he makes it to 12. Several teams, to the point where he's sounds like a guaranteed top 10 pick, but as well as a
Hmm.
lot of traction for these other safeties as well. But I kind of ran with that, looking at the Giants, and also what I feel like they might do at 10. I actually went with Caleb Downs here at 5. Um, again, potential for drafting. I mean, there's a chance you even get both, but I don't know that Downs is going to be there at 10. So I feel like if they really want Downs, who could be a major game changer, I think 5 might have to be where they go.
I'm still sticking with Stunning Styles. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Giants. I think that's just, I don't know. There's no arguing, really, in my end. There's no argument there. So, but I also do like the Caleb Downs pick a lot. So I'm also fine with him being picked up at 5.
I could go again, like this. I think it's Styles or Downs if Love's not on the board. I think it's one or the
Yeah,
other.
and I agree with that. I agree with that.
And so taking Styles at 5, and
Okay.
then this is where 6 gets really. I have another trade here. um,
All within the first 10 picks, I assume.
no, they're not all within the first 10 picks,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
um,
it's okay.
I have another trade here for the Browns because they could settle, could stick and go receiver, but there's feels like so little pressure to pick a tackle or a receiver here. I mean, first 5 picks is 40 or edge. We have linebacker and then a running back and a quarterback, which are like blue chip players, and then there's no more of their
Yeah.
kind. It feels like there's a lot of pressure maybe to just to go up and get one of these like top tier defensive talents, especially with these teams that kind of need it.
Yeah.
So, and again, it shifts a little bit with the difference for 5 for me, but it doesn't shift it enough to completely take this off the table. Where I actually have the Cowboys jumping up to 6. And
Okay.
in this case, I think it still works beautifully in taking Caleb Downs. They're leapfrogging the Commanders, who absolutely I think would take Caleb Downs at 7 or against Sunny Style. But in this case, Caleb Downs at 7 because he's the last blue chip guy and he would dramatically change that defense. Cowboys get a chance to move up, get that guy can dramatically change their defense. They have the capital to move up where the Commanders are kind of stuck sitting and hoping and praying. Um, Meanwhile, Cowboys, they have all the room to get aggressive and try and make the most out of this 12th overall pick. So this is a place I had a trade up, and
Okay.
I could easily see a plug and switch of Cowboys trading up for Caleb Downs here.
Okay. So for the Browns, they just really need a receiver as well. Um, I actually did. I'll explain a little bit more later about the whole situation, but um, I do have Carnell Tate being taken here.
Mm.
Um, you do need the pieces, whether it's O line or receiver or whatnot. Um, Things kind of just lined up for how I did it. That they got both the things they wanted. So, like, I'll explain it later. But the Browns just need a good receiver. They have some decent ones. They just don't have not like a superstar, but like they don't have a receiver that's just boom, like, flashy or whatnot. So I think Carl Tate can really do that for them. And I don't know if they are really still sold on Shedeur Sanders, get him a good receiver like that, they might do some damage. So
That is fair. I really like the idea of the Cowboy. Well, because just I feel like this is kind of the last spot that really makes sense for the Cowboys to move up, which is why I had them here.
yeah,
Um,
which is fair. I didn't really picture the Cowboys moving up here.
uh,
Honestly, I thought them more jump into 3 than anything else, but
3 or 6, I think are position because I feel like they're just gonna try and make a move for one of those big like game changing kind of defensive players. And there's a few in this top 10, but I don't see as far as trading spots. I think 3 and 6 are likely the only ones to really be able to do that. So um,
okay.
I'll leave it up to kind of your discretion if we want to have the Browns make that trade or stick.
We can let the Cowboys have their fun, I guess.
All
Make
right,
it something different.
because honestly, I think this is going to be something, and I think they might. Browns are a team that have clearly just made it clear that they want more picks. Um,
Yeah, they clearly do.
Honestly, I think the Cowboys try and keep 20, maybe give up the first next year. Some more future picks, I think,
Along
then
those roads. Yeah.
because Browns, they have actually quite a few picks this year already, and I think trying to expand on next year's picks, I think is kind of where we would see them prefer. So I think this makes more sense of a trade. Some again, there are nuances to it, but this, and I think even though I had Sonny Styles, I think Downs makes a lot of sense here. So get him Downs.
Mhm.
Commanders at 7. I know mine's not going to be the same as yours because they're already
Yeah,
gone.
we kind of talked about it already.
Um,
Um,
my number 7
so
though.
this, oh, yeah,
I mean, I keep it short and sweet. I have Tate. You miss out on Downs, Styles, and Love, which are like probably I imagine they're top 3, but no room to move up.
hmm
You just go with the best guy at a need. And Carnell Tate is got that big body. Like, could it be Lemon Shore? Could it be Tyson Shore?
yeah,
But
yeah. Could
they
be.
have the slot guys, the slot playmaker guys already. I don't think you need a lemon. You need someone opposite of Scary Terry. And so then it comes down to Tate or Tyson, and I see the Commanders just being more safe with it and not trusting the injury history with Tyson and going with Tate is where I kind of landed with that.
Okay. Um, so I know it's a little bit of a drop for him, but I did have David Bailey here originally, but with
Oh,
how
you have
we've
him
kind of set
down.
up this combined draft together, um, yeah, because what is it left that we have? Tate. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, Tate in this situation would be really good too, because the Commanders really just need, you know, weapons.
They have a lot of needs, and just trying to get a game changer, is like you got some young,
Yeah,
you got some talent, but they need to build out that roster a little more. And
easily.
I think Tate is kind of a good fit here. If the board does end up falling like this, um,
Hmm.
so we'll go Tate as someone who is there, and this is where honestly I feel like we'll be able to kind of connect on this one pretty easily because Cardinals are here, and you had them going Maui Noah at 3. I have him going Maui Noah at 8, where he falls to them
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's not like as far as I think these top 7 picks. I just don't think he's going to be as 4 or 5. I think there's a chance that he gets sought
Yep.
after, but and then obviously 6 with the Browns potentially looking at linemen. But I think if the board falls like this, Cardinals to get to trade down year 2 or first year of their rebuild, and you get picks for the future, and you get a tackle who most people saw them taking in the early mocks at 3 anyways. Now you get to take him at 8, which just feels like a steal. That's kind of
Oh, easily. Yeah. I am more than happy to do that for there because, I mean, come on.
perfect.
Maui
Uh,
Noah for the Cardinals. Yeah.
Delane is absolutely like one of those guys. Him or honestly, if Downs or Styles makes it there, I think that's um kind of a match. There's also an outside chance of Bane, but speaking of Bane, this is actually I have Bane going at 9 to the Chiefs. He just feels
I do
like
as well.
he feels like such a perfect fit. He's a heavier edge with a lot of run stopping capabilities, and that kind of just feels like it is a match made in heaven for Spags and the defense that they love to run. And it'll kind of be the corner piece of trying to return that defense to their years where they were in the Super Bowl. And that defense, clearly is not in the same
Yeah.
place now, but I think Bane is a starting piece for that.
So for number 10, um, so this is why I said I was going to put a pin in this, was because I actually had the Giants picking both Styles and Downs. It was for
Uh,
your situation, it was flipped,
uh-huh.
but this is how I got Downs and Styles to go to the Giants.
Uh-huh.
I think this would be really cool.
Oh,
So
I think it'd be amazing. I would love to see it happen. I just don't think it's
I don't
possible.
know if it's possible.
If,
Yeah, but
like even if I don't think Styles and Downs or I don't think either of them would be able to make it to 10. And
no,
that's kind of the
they're just
unfortunality.
that good.
What I did have
Oh yeah.
here though is someone who is still on the board, and I actually went with Jordan Tyson. And I
Hmm.
think the trade of Sexy Dexy, you take this so willingly in a situation where the Giants they seemed like they were trying to get him to stick around, but it seemed like they just flipped on a dime, took it, and it's because it's like I mean, 10th overall pick is really good value,
Hmm.
but it feels like they kind of had an idea of what they wanted to do here, and they, from what everything I've seen, the Giants love Jordan Tyson. He played
Hmm.
actually pretty well at his pro day. Well, no, he didn't play at his pro day, but the private workout he did. played really well. It seems like there's no concerns as his current state health wise. And he looks like probably the most talented receiver. It's just that health concern. And then going on
Yeah.
top of how like just how good of a player he is. Well, it was sometime recently. It was reported that the Giants GM, Joe Shane, was having dinner with Jordan Tyson in Arizona, and because it's just I don't know, they seem like they really like him. I think they pick up 10. Like if you can get Styles and Downs, yeah, probably like sure, but realistically, I think Tyson is the guy they have in mind here, and so I've kind of
Yeah.
married the idea of Tyson at 10. If he makes it to 10, there's
If
a
he
lot
I
of
was gonna
talk.
say if he makes it to 10.
There's a lot of talk that he might be in that 9 to 7 range.
So the Dolphins here, they really just need anything at this point, and at the point of when I was doing this, Monroe Freeling was right there.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of what I went with because the Dolphins really just need anything at this point.
Which is fair. I think it's gonna be best guy available. I viewed
Yeah.
best guy available. I really wanted to throw Lemon in here with Tate and Tyson off the
Yeah.
board.
Yes.
A
Yes.
potential
I was thinking about it.
for them to pick him up because it's like, oh, the receivers are going to start to run. But I actually took him out of that contention, and I think it's going to come down to Delane, Fano, and Thieneman are the three guys that I had here potentially because I think honestly Delane might be the best guy here with that.
If he's still there, oh yeah, he's going there.
So you want to go with Delane then?
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
I think if he's still at this point, then we take him here.
Fair enough.
But with 12, so the Cowboys pick. I mean, since Delane was gone, Jamal McCoy was just sitting there. And I don't hate the idea of Jamal McCoy going to the Cowboys. Obviously, with our draft currently,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really happening.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, but with the situation that I was in, I like the idea of, Jamal McCoy going. But
That's fair.
what was yours? What was yours?
I mean, again, I think where they're gonna look here is this is gonna be lineman. I think that's why you make the trade down. Um, like yeah, you could get one of these top receivers, but I think the receivers are there's gonna be receivers down the board. There's gonna be linemen down the board too, but I think there's quite a difference between the linemen and the receivers as far as like skill gap at the top. And
Mm-hmm.
at 12, yeah, you could get a Makai Lemon, or maybe even Cooper could rise. I think he has a high possibility of rising into the teens. But
Yeah,
I
he
have
does.
I went with the tackle. And
Mm-hmm.
this was kind of a thing where again it was either Fano or Freeling with an outside chance of Proctor. But I just think
Yeah.
I've done it so many times. It's in a different spot at least, but just Freeling to secure the left tackle is what I had. Then you got Rams at 13.
13. Okay, so I've also been married to the idea of Lemon going to the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's been a thing I've been saying for weeks, but obviously you do have your opinion as well.
I
What is
do.
yours?
Um, and again, this is another one I was between. I narrow it down to Lemon. Honestly, I think there's a good chance, with if Fano's on the board, Fano could go, but I had it between Lemon,
Yeah.
Thieneman, or McNeil Warren, whichever safety is viewed higher.
Mm,
I do like Lemon the most. If I'm being frank, can I say legitimately that that's the most likely outcome? No, but it is my favorite kind of outcome. So I can
mhm.
I'm good with Lemon though on your end.
Okay.
Ravens at 14.
Yes. Ravens at 14. So what do we have here? So this is like this midsection got a little chaotic on my end to an extent because of the picks I made earlier. I
Mm-hmm.
actually had the Ravens taking Iona here. Um, yeah, so it was a weird situation that I kind of went with, but with how your roster kind of shifted over this last off season, it wasn't out of the picture. So
Yeah,
that's kind of why I went there.
and that's very fair. Ravens, this is again, it's another team where I feel like I haven't heard anything about their direction.
Yeah,
Like where
because
they're
the
looking.
Ravens are quiet.
They've been very
Yeah.
quiet as far as like they've played their hand very close. It's where the Ravens looking, really. And I've not really keyed into that super well, so it's one that I'm not totally locked on. So we'll go with your Ioane here. And we got the Bucks
They're
at
just very
15.
they're just very chaotic. So yeah, the Bucks being here at 15, they need a Devontae or Levante David replacement.
So
Yeah.
defense, I'm assuming you were talking about Levante David. I'm assuming you were leading in with CJ Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of torn between Mesidor and Allen. I'm gonna be completely honest. Um, I only mentioned Levante David because I was kind of 50-50 on it. They could go Mesidor or ZJ Allen here. I'm fine with going ZJ Allen actually. But I did have Mesidor being taken here. Because I mean, in my eyes it could go either way. But it also depends on, do they really want to replace Levante David's position and go here with CJ Allen, or do they focus somewhere else first? Like you said, best player available sometimes,
Yeah,
but
I mean, there's a lot of need
it
for
depends on what they view on it. Yeah,
yeah.
depends on how they view it.
Um, and when it came down to it, uh, I really I feel like the safeties between Thieneman and McNeil Warren are the two that kind of make the most sense for like best players with what we have.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
but it just doesn't feel as much of a need, and and there's a good chance that leads the Buccaneers to maybe trade down here, but I couldn't find one. Um, and so it kind of is going to be just probably a little bit of a reach. I think come draft day they might be very likely. This is according to sources projected to be the one of the most trade heavy drafts we've seen. So,
yeah,
whether there's any legitimacy there, we'll have to see. But yeah,
yeah,
but between C.J. Allen, Akeem Mesidor, Thieneman, McCoy, like there's a lot of guys. I'll I like the idea. We'll go with C.J. Allen here.
yeah.
Um, get kind of a replacement and buff up that defense. As linebackers and safeties are becoming more and more viable pieces again in defenses, rather than
Mm-hmm.
like corners and edge rushers where it's about stopping the pass. Now we're getting a
Yeah,
little back to power sets and run game.
oh yeah,
Jets at 16.
yeah. So this is part of the other reason why things got thrown off on my end because of how I picked earlier. Um, I actually had Jordan Tyson going to the Jets. I thought
Mm.
he'd be a good experimental uh, piece of the Jets unit. Obviously, you kind of need a quarterback to kind of do that, but I think giving Jordan Tyson a chance to flourish, especially in an offense that definitely needs somebody to step up in. Yeah,
I liked kind of the idea of getting something to balance out, and not quite leaning so much on the double dip on defense. So I actually had
yeah,
him look more towards the offensive side of the ball, and I think if someone like Lemon Tyson somehow or Tate fall this far, I think that's kind of going to be where they look.
Yeah.
but you don't have those guys. But who you do have, who I think has good capability to rise, is Omar Cooper, who I think could sneak
Yes.
into the teens. He's been mocked to the top 20 or to in the 20s a lot, but I think he's very
Yeah.
likely to sneak into the teens, and it is a comp I like, uh,
I agree.
given the
I
circumstances.
agree.
So
Yeah.
Omar
I'm okay with that.
Cooper 16. Then we got the Lions at 17. I don't see this being anything other than a lineman, and
Yeah.
I have
This is
this.
where I had Fano go.
You had Fano go here.
I had Fano go here.
Fano falling to 17.
It's
I have
unlikely,
I think it's a
but
little, yeah, a little tough to see actually happening, but
like I said, it's just kind of how things were in my draft. So,
no, and I think that makes sense. Given that he's there, I just think even with him there, I have a hard time seeing the Lions take him over Caden Proctor, who is
which is also fair.
a massive left tackle from Alabama. He's raw, he's got some work to do, but I think it gives you a little bit more security of someone who can play left tackle rather than trying to push Panay Sewell over there. And
Hmm.
there's just it's an Alabama guy. I think that is so much more
Oh yeah.
enticing to someone like the Lions, um, over the experience and the versatility of someone like Fano. Could be wrong, but I like kind of I had Proctor here at 17.
Yeah. I'm fine with Proctor here. It was Fano or Proctor, but I kind of like Fano. I have a little bit of a bias towards him.
I honestly I think it's hard to see him fall that far, but it's just the way the Lions work. I feel like will value Proctor a little bit. I think they're honestly going to be the team that values him enough to rise out of the 20s. Vikings
Hmm.
at 18. They are a team on my list that could potentially move. Um, really, they could
True.
move up or down, but I think with the picks they have, I think they have the ability to move up. But obviously,
This
we
is
didn't have them
kind
do
of
that, so
where, yeah, I was about to say they can move up or down, but this is kind of where I had them pick Thieneman. I know I've done this a couple times, but I don't know. I just like the idea of Thieneman going to the Vikings. I think he could work there. Um, I don't really have any other issues with any other player going there, but I just have a slight bias towards Thiedemann there.
yeah. I mean, given that Thieneman falls this far, I think Thieneman is going to work a little bit better. I think McNeil Warren is also very, very plausible to go here. And
Oh, easily.
I think these interior D linemen, I think McDonald could rise up to 18 as well. But I'll stick with the Thieneman. I know we've done it quite a few times, but it does kind of
Yeah.
feel like the match for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Um, Panthers
There
at
and
19.
well, this one to me is one of the most obvious ones
Let
if he's
me.
still there.
It's a Kenyon Sadiq.
It is Sadiq. There is no argument here. Like if Sadiq is here, the Panthers picking up Sadiq. He is the only like obviously first round tight end in the draft, and the Panthers are pretty heavy on the tight end necessity.
Cowboys at 20. Um, way we shook it out. They had Downs first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Look at with where things end up. I don't think oof. There's rumblings of them going out and getting someone who's risen a little bit in value, and that's Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. Um, there's
I've not heard about that.
there's some validity that he might be corner two in this class. Um, as he's gotten some lift.
I actually had Keldrick Folk.
Frederick Falk.
I had Falk here.
Yeah, that's yeah. That works pretty well, I'd say. As a young guy that needs some development in the edge, like in the pass rush aspect, but really good run stopper, and I think it'll shore up a bit. Steelers, another team I think has a good chance to move up. It's just
Mm-hmm.
who's moving up where. Um, but they are a team I expect more, if anything, to move up, not down. Um,
Yeah.
given that,
Originally, I had Proctor going here, but with Fano still there,
yeah, just kind of
I'm
switch the
not opposed
Fano
to
and
that.
Proctor. I think makes
Yeah.
works really well. I like Fano there. Chargers at 22. I really get
I had
potential of
I
receiver, but
had
I think this is D line.
yeah, I was supposed to say I had Lomu here for the Chargers, but I'm also not opposed to going that route either.
Yeah, I've heard people say tackle. I think tackle is like one of their most secure positions. Obviously yes, they need guys to stay healthy, but
Yeah,
drafting depth at tackle just never really made sense to me. So, and I feel like
that's fair.
knowing Harbaugh, probably gonna be some trench guys. If Ioane's here, I think it's an absolute yes for Ioane. But going out and
Hmm.
getting game changer on the D line, given the what is here, what I had, I would probably lean towards Mesidor. Yeah, he's got some age on him, but
Yeah,
it's an instant contributor off the edge. Um,
I agree.
the Eagles have basically it's all but like official kind of. It is expected, largely expected, that AJ Brown gets traded to the Patriots post draft. It'll be in around June 1st. Um, but
Yeah,
given that that might add a desire to get a receiver, which again I think makes them potential risers in the draft. Um, but I think that puts receiver on the board. I think tackle is something they're gonna need to. Linemen in general, potential needs, and like edge I think is the thing. But Eagles are so prioritized. They prioritize just best player available and make do there.
yeah.
You know? So
What'd you have here?
uh, well, the guy I had here wasn't here, but what I will say is with how the board has fallen, I think I would say uh, I think I'd have to go with McNeil Warren
Fair.
just because I even falling to 23 seems a little far, but McNeil Warren I think is the guy I would
Yeah,
have here.
yeah. I think you do well there.
Um,
I had a Blake Miller go to the Eagles, but
you
I think
know,
anything, anything really for the Eagles is a steal.
yeah, we can go Blake Miller. Um,
Okay.
Browns at 24. We had him go Freeling at 12. So we
Yeah,
expect this to be a receiver. I think
yeah,
I think receiver number 5 off the board is going to be
hmm
Denzel Boston. He's got X capabilities, like true outside receiver capabilities. Um, I think if you pass up on Tate, it's because you're confident in the abilities to go out and get someone like Boston or potentially Cooper, but obviously don't have him falling this far. So I think Boston
yeah.
would make sense. 25 this one.
This is where I had McNeil Warren going.
Yeah, I think
So
this is gonna come down to two options. Caden McDonald, who again, he's about Peter Woods showed really good tape 2 years ago, kind of similar to Jamad McCoy, but Caden
yeah,
McDonald is right now the consensus like top defensive tackle on the board, or in this class. He's expected
yeah,
to be
in
the
the
first off
class,
the board.
yes,
I would agree. If there's as much hype around these safeties, I think McNeil Warren does not fall any further than 25. Um, so yeah, I'll go McNeil Warren here. Bills at 26.
okay, yeah. I had him take T.J. Parker here because they needed an edge help, but I'm also down for them getting something different here.
I
Um,
I really like, and it's maybe I talk a lot of smack about their run stopping abilities. I think Cade McDonald would fit
yeah,
that very well. Um,
yeah. I think he would. I think he would.
so Caden McDonald get to 27. 49ers, another team,
This
kind
is
of just. I think it's going to be best guy available.
yeah, yeah. It really is. And how my board fell, Omar Cooper Jr. was there. So I mean, I liked the idea of them, getting some receiver help because we have no idea what Ayuk is doing. He's just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. So I don't
True,
know.
and I know we had talked about potentially them getting a tackle because of issues,
Yes.
but Trent Williams got
Yes.
his. They got that worked out. Um, that's again how long term is that is still up for grabs, but it might be
Yeah.
enough to direct them a little bit away from tackle this year. I think this could be where the fall stops for Jamad McCoy.
Yeah. I mean, he's there. You might as well take a chance at him.
I know I'm expecting quite a bit of fall for him. He's a guy I expect to fall into the 20s, probably later 20s. But there's a point where it's like the 20 the 24 tape was really good. Does he look like that right
Yeah.
now? Not necessarily, but you know, 49ers. I mean, they brought in Mike Evans. Why not bring in a guy like McCoy? Which are different
True.
scenarios, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So McCoy here, Texans at 28. I think
I had Peter Woods here.
I think that's a possibility. Also I also think there's a really high possibility they trade down for yet another year.
Mm.
Um,
Which is completely fair.
and again, like it all is going to be dependent on the pressure generated for Ty Simpson. If there's
Yeah.
very little, I think the trade up for Ty Simpson could literally be 32 with the Seahawks. But if there's a race to try and lock him up, it might have people reaching up to 28, 29, or even 27 or 26. But I think the Texans, you don't have maybe a lineman that you I don't think they're going to have the lineman that they want here, and they've shown a willingness to build through the later rounds. So I kind of had them
True.
trading back between the two. I think the Cardinals just makes the most sense, but Texans trading back for Ty Simpson, but at the same time, I'm not married to it because I just don't know quite where the pressure is gonna kick in. So,
Yeah. He's one of those wild cards I've yet to figure out. So
and so I'll kind of let this ride with you is whether they stick and pick or do trade back for someone to come get Simpson.
I mean, I had them pick Peter Woods here, but I'm
You
also
we
down with anything else.
you could stick with we could stick with Peter Woods if you want. I think there's a
We
possibility.
could.
I think it's more likely for them to stick if it's McDonald there, but given Peter Woods is there, I think that's a possibility,
Yeah.
or any significant defensive pieces. But we can go with
Yeah.
Peter Woods.
Yeah.
There's plenty of opportunity. Chiefs at 29. Um, just a refresher, we had Ruben Bain at
Yep.
9.
I kind of had them taking a corner here.
This is with where things have fallen. I would argue Chris Johnson. I think he's Terrell's fallen
Chris
a little
Johnson.
bit. I think Hood's also potentially could be the next guy off the board, but between there, it's Chris Johnson or Traden Stukes out of Arizona. Um,
Mm,
who've I don't. There's an anonymous, it's either GM or owner has said Stukes. They would take Stukes over Caleb Downs, and he has the potential because he has the potential to play outside corner, nickel corner, or safety at both safety
mm,
spots. I think he was listed
interesting.
more as a safety at Arizona, but someone really likes Stukes, and that makes me think he could fall. I don't know why I have the feeling it's the Chiefs, but I think this could be Chris Johnson or Stukes, just because I have the slightest suspicion that it is the Chiefs. But otherwise, I think Chris Johnson, honestly, is going to be the next guy off the board. He might even go
Yeah.
before
It's a
McCoy.
it is a corner here. I'm just not sure who it would be.
I'm gonna argue for Chris Johnson. I think he's going to be
Okay.
the next guy off the board. Dolphins. Um, had him go
Uh,
Delane. I think honestly,
this kind of best player available.
yeah, I mean that's gonna be the Dolphins pretty much all night.
Yeah.
Um, I think I would argue here for Ianachor, out of Arizona
Okay.
State. I think he's another guy that's gonna rise up into the first, and then Patriots. A lot of talk about them potentially
Eh,
going with a guard here in Kalen Rutledge, but I mean,
true.
this is just weird because I have a hard time seeing Lomu falling out of the first, but I know the Patriots are not going to be a team to take him here, and that
No.
you with the expectation that you're gonna bring in, you have it
AJ
Romeo
Brown.
Dobbs, you're gonna have yeah AJ Brown, leaves room for a potential shakeup. Even if they didn't get AJ Brown, or if that's not like basically in the works.
Confirmed or something.
I
Yeah.
still don't feel like I think Concepcion could be a first round guy, but not to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Just the fundamentals that he lacks. But I will say Chris Bell could be the guy that could rise there.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but
He very well could be. I've heard some good things about him.
yeah, he's. I think he's another guy with some he had an injury suffered an injury last year, but other than that, really good tape. I think I like
Yeah,
Chris
we can go
Bell.
with Chris Bell. Yeah, let's go with Chris Bell.
And then this is
Finally, the Seahawks.
where this is. I know what it's gonna
I
be, but I
mean,
don't know which. Seahawks have been very open in saying that they're gonna trade back. Very open in saying they're gonna trade back. The question is with who. They have, and the Seahawks have even said they're willing to trade with an NFC West opponent
oh,
for this trade back. So, their 32nd pick, if Simpson's not gone before, I think he's gonna go here. And the question is, who gives up more to get this
mm,
32nd pick and take Ty Simpson?
I don't
Between
know.
it's most likely the Jets or the Cardinals who are.
Yeah, it's definitely Jets and Cardinals. I'm just trying to figure out who would be more aggressive here. I can see the Jets.
And this is also given the Cardinals have the first pick in the second round, so they're trading up one
Yeah,
spot where the
that's.
Jets would be trading up two. Oh wait, no,
I think it's two.
No, that's
No.
flipped. The
It's
Jets have the first in
yeah,
the second round. The Cardinals, which puts more
yeah, I
pressure
have it
on the
flipped as well.
Cardinals to trade. For
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I think it would
with an
be
NFC West, like you said, yeah,
I think it would be the Cardinals. I
yeah.
for
In
some
that
reason
situation, yeah, they would be.
I feel like the Jets are a little more comfortable with Geno. Yeah, it would probably just drop back the 2 spots and probably something in the even though this says 183, I think it'd probably be closer to like 143 because again, you got to take into
Hmm.
account Seahawks are going to be sitting there, one phone in one hand with the Jets, another with the Cardinals going. You'll give me a fifth.
Who wants it?
They're gonna Jets over there are gonna give me a fourth. You're gonna you're gonna give
You
me
have
a
to take
third
that.
now. Okay, cool. So like, it's it's gonna be speculatively that's what we think might happen. Could both just sit back and go, we don't really care that much about Ty Simpson, and we'll just
Very well possible.
we're fine just waiting to the second round, and if the Jets don't take him at 33, we'll take him at 34. Like, depending on how well they like him. But I think most likely he does sneak in. If it's not, it'll be like the tail end of the draft, I think. So
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think Cardinals makes the
100%.
most sense.
Yeah, I agree with what we've been talking about.
So
I
they trade
I
up,
concur.
take Ty Simpson,
All right.
and
Well, this is a interesting draft. It's
honestly,
definitely more possible.
yeah, I think there's still gonna be more trades here, but I just don't know where. Um, I
No one
think
can predict
the
it correctly.
I do think there is gonna be at least one trade in the top 10 of whether it's the Cardinals or the Browns trading down.
Hmm.
I I feel pretty good
I'm
about the
happy
top
with
10.
this. I'm happy with this.
This is our attempt at
Huh.
our most accurate NFL draft, mock draft for
Of
2026.
this, I was about to say, of 2026. This is pretty good for what we've kind of worked together on.
Yeah,
I'm
admittedly,
liking this.
compared to the other ones, it is the only one where we have the Giants at 10. So, that
Yeah,
helps.
because it's most accurate.
We'll be putting out our individual mock drafts soon
Hmm.
if they're not out already. And obviously, as we have done the past 2 years, we will be live streaming the first 2 days of the draft. And we're hoping to have some fun surprises and a fun night, especially on night one
Hmm.
of draft reaction and content.
Oh yes.
And finally get to see how this unfolds because contrary to last year, I have no idea how this top 10 is going to go. But in the meantime, this has been our last mock draft of this off season, and
Oh,
it's a little sad, but we will be back after the draft with more content, and we look forward to going over that with you then.
thank you all for watching, and we shall see you at the draft or in the next video. See ya.
Bye.